Hello? Is it on? Oh, it's on. Welcome back, YouTube. Lloyd Phillips here with the Life&Times podcast once again. This week in the episode, I don't know, we talked about a few things. I think my buddy, he's still probably on the run from the law for busting through an airport barrier gate. I don't think you're supposed to do that. I think it was probably an accident. Maybe they're not looking for him, but either way, we Duke boyed the thing. I didn't do it. And, just so you know, I'm not real fond of TSA. I fly a lot, and I think I've had enough of them. Anyway, we'll get into it. Listen, guys, just check out the show. Love everybody. Let's get to it. Welcome back to the Life&Times podcast. I'm your host, Lloyd Phillips. It's good to be back for another fine week. This week is a fine week all the way around. If you're a sports fan, it's not a sports show, but, football started. High school football, which I announced this week. I announced them to victory again. It's really weird to be the heart and soul behind the community. You know what I mean? Like, the kids are out there. I know they practice all week long, but the work that goes into what I do. Honestly, it's what I think. Like, my vibe is what they feed off my vibe, and I really push them to victory. You know what I mean? So when you're a guy who has that kind of command presence in the box, it's a big deal. Buffalo Bills won also. So anyway, what was up with the lighting? What did you tell me earlier? Okay, so I'll take it. I don't want to cut you off. What did you say? You have a greasy face. Yeah. So he said, this is what Leighton said. Leighton said, he's like, hey man, I'm going to dim the lighting because when it's real bright, he's like, your face looks greasy. And then, which is not, I don't like low light. It's probably low. You probably can't even see me right now. The light's so low if you're watching YouTube. And my face isn't greasy. It's unbelievable. I use Dr. Squatch. I'm a newbie to the Dr. Squatch army.
And that degreases your face?
Yeah. Do you know what that is?
I don't think so.
It's bar soap.
Nobody uses bar soap
and
anymore.
It smells like birch wood. When's the last time you got a hold of a good birch wood?
My essential oils.
Yeah, probably so. Yeah, he's a believer in that. So here's what I was starting to say earlier. I was thinking about where I grew up in my hometown. There was a convenience store, and it was called Greg's Getting Split. And to be honest, even though I grew up there, I knew who Greg was by his face walking in, but I don't know Greg. I have no idea what his last name is. I don't know if he lives around there. I don't know if he's alive. I have no idea. But he owned the video store also. And so, which was next to it. And I don't know if like every little town has this, but it was called Greg's Star Time Video, and all he had was VHS tapes. Mm-hmm. I had moved off. Let me think. No, I was completely gone. My whole life it was VHS tapes. That's all it was. I never made it to DVDs. I was gone before that happened. I think he probably had DVDs. I'm not sure, but I'll tell you what he did have. And I don't know the guy. Like, I'm not going to mouth him. I don't know who he's related to or anything. I'm just saying that at Star Time Video there was a back room. When you were a kid, you couldn't go in there because it was an adult-only video room. He had tanning beds and adult video-only room. But and as a kid, I knew that it was in there. Everybody knew that it was in there. Well, apparently not everybody. I brought it up to somebody the other day. Like, what? I'm like, you don't know that? But like when I think about that, do all small towns, do they have the secret video room?
Yeah, I mean, that's what I was trying to think of. If any of the small like video shops where I grew up, I wonder if it had that. But
what a house of perverts! I thought. Honestly, now that that was only there when I was a kid. But if I had an adult brain, I would go down there all day long, and I would wait for somebody to walk in that room, and then I would shame them. I would public shame them. I'm like, this dude's a pervert. I would do it all the time. Like, well, I wish I was smart enough. I wish I was older when I found out that he had a pervert room. I would just do it all the. I'd just be at football games. I'd be like, let's pretend it was you, Leighton.
Oh,
and you're sitting in the stands like, oh, everybody look at Leighton down there.
Yeah, I saw him in the adult room.
Look at Leighton Roden. He knows about the private room. Yeah, I mean, But in that town that had like 48 churches, and it does. Well, it's 48. I don't know. A lot. There's a whole lot, and I kind of just can't believe that that's even a thing there.
Yeah.
And it's a tiny town. So literally, what I just told you, everybody can see who goes in that room.
Yeah.
Like, what? There's no. Hey, Greg, I'm gonna be there at 6:30. I'm gonna need you to stall at the front door and let me run in the back there and don't let anybody show me. You know what I mean? Don't show me. Hide me.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just thought of that. Well, I don't even know what brought that up. I forgot who I was talking to, but the other day I just had that thought. And I'm like, it's an amazing thing. Well, I was with my friend. I flew into Dallas Fort Worth Airport. I don't know, 2 or 3 weeks ago. He was coming from New York. I was coming from Tulsa. We met in Dallas because he lives outside of Dallas. And so we were doing our annual fantasy football draft. That's what we were doing. And which, by the way, I had the number 1 draft again. I probably even said that in the last
I love
couple
fantasy
weeks,
football.
Yeah, me too. We're actually in a league together, and I'm probably beating you right now. So anyway, so we go. We're at the airport. You know, I got to tell this first story that has nothing to do with VHS tapes, just to make the reference to the VHS. That's what made me think of this whole Greg's thing. Well, he's parked on the 5th floor of the parking lot, and he bought this 96 GMC that he's proud of. It's not even fixed up or anything, but it's kind of fast. And so he likes it just because it's a 96. It's older. It's for nostalgic purposes. You know, that's about the year. Actually, I had a 96 Chevy. That's what I had when I was a kid. He peeled out at every crosswalk in the parking garage, all 5 levels. Every time we got to one of those white lines, he stopped and then he would just roast them. And I thought the airport security's they're going to get us. Like, we're not even going to get out of the parking garage. Like, we're 100% not getting out of the parking garage. By the way, it's Cody's who it is. His name's Cody. And now I know why he's doing it. He's doing it to humor me. There's no way by himself every week he's burning it off at every crosswalk. So I got to smile because in my head I'm like, if they stop us, I'm just the passenger guy. Yeah. What are you going to do to me? And so I just keep laughing, which further encourages him. So we get all the way to the floor. We're pulling out of the garage. He's got one last burn him out. There's people on the sidewalk. And so we pull out of the airport. We make it. You know, he has his ticket. He pays the money. We drive out. Well, I'm hungry, so I want to go eat. He misses the exit. So we got to do a U-turn. Well, he didn't get off at the last exit. So now we're back at the airport. Well, the thing is, at Dallas Airport, you got to take a ticket just to get in. Mm-hmm. Now, it's probably free if you did U-turn, but he didn't do that. He went to the Pike Pass lane, I guess for airport employees. He didn't have a pass. And so then we U-turn. So now, going out of the airport, I told all that to get to this part. Pulling out of the airport, the far right lane has those traffic barriers, you know, the things that go up and down, just the arm. Mm-hmm. What do you call those?
An arm.
Yeah, well, so the arm, and then when a vehicle who has the proper identification or some kind of tag reading device, the arm goes up and then it goes down. Well, it's for airport employees. I know it is. So one goes out, and that arm's pretty fast. Like, you can drive 20 miles an hour and you can make it out. So the first one goes, and then the second one goes, and Cody sees those two. So then he falls in behind him like it's just going to raise, and it starts to go down, but he didn't have anything that reads. And he blew through the control arm at Dallas at DFW airport, and I'm like, oh my God, like, I know there's thousands of cameras, and he just ran through that barrier, like, oh my God, but it didn't. He had this 96 GMC. It didn't do anything to that GMC.
Yeah,
nothing.
I bet it did something to that arm.
I thought it was gonna. I can't believe it didn't knock the windshield out, and then it just like skidded over the top, like the whole top of it. And I look at him like, you know, whatever face I made, and he said, I don't know. Like, he didn't even, I don't even think he laughed. It was just more of he's like, well, should have went up. Like, I think that's what he said. And the whole time I'm like, we're going to get arrested, man. Like, it's federal stuff. Like, airports is federal stuff. I'm on the plane. This is new. Recent. It's probably been there like for a year. There's TVs when you walk in, and the federal transportation guy in Washington, the guy over all of it, he's like, airport security. And they're just telling you how you're going to get fined and everything's against the law. So like if you watch all those movies, I'm not like trying to take it this far with the podcast, but I am going to take it this far with what's happening. It's almost like those dystopian movies where the government runs, like Hunger Games and all that. That's what it's like when you go through the airport line. They're saying if you don't do this, you're going to get in trouble. And then all the federal employees, the airport security, they're federal employees. So you can't, I took a picture of it. You can't mouth the employees. It's against the law federally. But when you're pulling through, man, it's just a bunch of, look, guys, I'm not better than anybody. I'm not mouthing anybody. I'm just telling you. A guy that you would typically think is a nerd, this guy's got some authority.
Yeah.
It's like the real small town cop people that shouldn't be cops. It's like that.
Yeah.
And so, like, you're going through. That doesn't mean there's not good small town cops. You just know those guys that got picked on growing up and they decided they wanted to be cops and they're just over the top. But that's what it's like. So he's like, next. And he's just like a nerd. Like he's just a nerdy guy. And this is what he says. Just like this. Of course, I won't give the whole stall. He's like, next. And then he gives your license back and he goes, you're done. Next. And he does it the whole time. Well, when I go through airport security now, I'm a nice guy. Everybody who personally knows me, they think I'm a nice guy or funny or whatever. Like they know that I'll talk. I don't talk to those people at all. Like I just make mean faces because they're all rude and I don't like you either.
Yeah.
So like if you find a nice one, of course I'll smile and say thank you or hi or whatever, whatever the proper greeting is. But for anybody that is trying to run you through and they act like I do not speak to them at all.
Yeah.
So, but then because it's real vague, like you can't mouth them. I don't even know what I'm supposed to say. Like I don't know.
You're gonna get locked up in airport prison because you mouthed the.
Well, yeah, just the other day. And side note, I'm going to finish that, but it's always this for me. It seems like the smallest airports are the worst ones. They're the ones where you got somebody that acts like they're Tackleberry from Police Academy. Older people know what I'm talking about, like real turbo type, like over the top. So I walk through. I already don't speak to them. I know the drill. And for the people that yell, like, no belts, no shoes, no. Now you can have TSA. TSA. What is the whatever known traveler number? I don't remember. I don't have it anymore. I used to skip the line, but now that I've recently flying again all the time, I have to get it back, but I don't have it. So I go to the regular line. So they're like, no belts, no shoes, and they just keep saying it, and they're yelling. It's like, don't make me tell you twice. And I already hate, like you're at the airport, now it's already official, it's a federal law, but just nerds, man. It makes me mad. So I don't speak to those people. So I'm standing in line. I put my stuff. I fly. At this point, I literally have probably flown, I don't know, 30 times in 6 weeks. So, like, I'm like, I get it.
Yeah, you know the drill.
Yeah, but even though they don't know me, that's not the point. You don't know me. So don't act like I don't know anything that's going on. I already put my stuff in that conveyor. So I'm standing there waiting to go through the thing. And the lady's like, no belts. And I don't look at her because I'm not looking at the people who are idiots. And so, and she's like, nope, sir, do you have a belt? I'm already standing in line to go through the thing. She's already said 10 times, no belts, no watches, no shoes, like 30 times. So I'm waiting. She's like, sir, do you have a belt? And I don't say anything. And she's like, sir, do you have a belt? And I look over at her and she's looking at me. And I just made she's like, do you have a belt? I'm like, ma'am, I fly all the time. If I had a belt, I would already put it on there. I know how. It's not my first day to fly. I get it. That's exactly what I said. So I don't know if I can go to jail for that with all the new rules and how everybody just is just the weakest people. We're the weakest we've ever been in my lifetime in society. So I don't know. I don't know what to say. So yeah, I was rude about it because I heard you the first 40 times.
Yeah.
Stop talking. Right? She's like, I don't care about your fake authority. Anyway. I got really sidetracked on that.
Yeah, you did. That was
friend.
That was a lot of passion right there.
Well, it's because they're stupid. But my friend, let's get back to that. My friend who Duke Boyd the barrier there, we make it home. He loses his wallet. This is a horrible callback to the first story. I'm just saying because it's not even. There's like not even a story attached to it, other than this. Friend can't find his wallet. We're looking through the old 96. It's an extended cab. And we look in the back, and there's like this little cubby hole in the back, and he pulls out a VCR tape, and he's like, "Look at this!" Yeah, I think it was like Back to the Future or something. He's like, by the way, he bought that truck for $250. The lady didn't know it worked, just didn't have a battery, so she sold it for $250. He called his friend, he brought a battery, it started right up, and he's been driving it ever since.
That's awesome.
So he pulled out this Back to the Future, and he's like, "Oh, you got a better deal." He got excited because he got a Back to the Future VCR tape. Yeah, so right when I saw that tape, all I thought was, I'm like, I don't know why. First VCR tape I laid eyes on in a while, and I thought, oh my gosh, Greg's at start time. He'd like to put that in the back room because that thing, like, it wasn't an actual Back to the Future. It was a recorded. Do you remember you could record those? Oh yeah. Well, do you remember that?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, your family might have had them, but you were DVD all the way when you were
no.
Kid. What?
My favorite, when I was probably my daughter's age, my favorite movie was on a VHS.
Yeah, I go with that. So anyway, but it was a VCR, probably Back to the Future, and but a recorded one. So I just said that. You don't know what's on those tapes.
Oh yeah, there's no telling until you pop it in.
Yeah, but the thing is, it's like nobody has a VCR.
Yeah, that's very true.
To watch it. Sorry for the interruption, everybody. I was just sorry for interrupting the show. I was just going to tell you, hey, I need you to know that people say, "Where'd you get that lavish beard?" And I say, well, the lavish beard I grew because I'm a lavish beard grower. But the reason it's so silky smooth is because I use Winchester Ranch Beard Co. products. Top oils on the market. I've been using them for years, or last year because it just started. But that's why my face looks so good. Tell your friends and use that. Okay? Talk to you later. Forgot one. American Survival Co. Everybody, American Survival Co. They're the top survival school in the entire world. I know everything for my survival needs, that's how I use American Survival Co. Go check out their website at americansurvivalco.com. Get all the details and information about team building exercises and all the things that you can do. It's really an awesome place. And the two guys who own the place, they also are the host of the new Netflix show, Snowflake Mountain. And that's awesome. Go check them out. Now back to the show. Love you. So even if it were like a movie Saw, where something was on that tape, we don't know.
Yeah.
Probably never know. I'm sure he probably threw it away.
Yeah, I would.
I mean, what else are you going to do with it? Doesn't make any sense, not to me. Do you feel like I had a little passion with the airport story?
You got very upset with the airport people. Shout out to all the airport employees that hassle Lloyd when he goes through.
No, the nice ones are fine. I speak to the nice ones, but it's those ones that I'm talking about that they don't smile and they just like, next, and they just look at you and then they stare at you real hard with your ID. They're staring at my ID. They're staring at me, which also annoys me. How long does it take for you to look at the ID and know it's me?
It should take about 2 seconds.
It's not like it's 1997 at the Midnight Rodeo. I look the same. But I mean, at least if you eyed me back then in I'll say it now because we're well past those days, but at least if you're eyeing me at the Midnight Rodeo like in 1998 or 99, you were looking at my cousin Aaron Pierce, at least you could like try to like, is it him? Yeah. I don't know, man. It's $5. Let him in. So I think that's how they did it back then at the Midnight Rodeo. But yeah, that's me. Like it's me, and I have a real ID, right? So whatever that means, whatever it means, new, latest, and greatest, easy to get through security. I
don't even have one of those stupid things yet. I got to get one in February.
So they act like these things are supposed to be something real special, but they're not. I'm thinking about I should be more positive.
Yeah, you should be nice to those people.
No, I am nice to the ones that are not. I'm not even mean to the people.
No,
I just don't look at them.
The lady that was screaming to take your belt off that you didn't have on, you should have said, "Ma'am," let me look at the camera for YouTube. "Ma'am, I don't have a belt on. This is not my first time flying, but I really appreciate you reminding me to not have a belt on, and I hope that you have a blessed day." What do you think about that? If you tried that next time.
Yeah, that sounds really good. Here's what I would think. I already heard her to say it out loud. I heard her say it out loud 14 times before that. No belts, no shoes, no. Yeah, I heard you because you were yelling on purpose to act authoritative. I heard her the first time. I'm not stupid. No, I mean, like, man, I mean, worst case scenarios, I just act like I couldn't hear.
That your passion with that reminds me of, it's not even a similar passion because you're way more passionate about that than I am about what I'm about to say. But I feel somewhat of the same way about like substitute teachers. I never, when I was in school, I never understood why every substitute teacher I ever had was just evil. Just because I get it. You probably don't want to be here subbing kids. Newsflash, we also as a class don't want you to be our sub.
That's actually not true because they signed up to be subs.
Okay, well, then that's even worse.
But I do agree with that. Now, I have had subs in my life where I'm like, oh, she was really cool.
Yeah, there's a very small.
I have had like I have had some subs over the years where I'm like, oh yeah, it's really awesome. And then we see them the next time, like, oh yeah, she's back. No, there are a way longer list of subs where they're just not nice.
Yes,
at all.
But that's what my point. Like, and they're only not nice because they're allowed to be not nice in the scenario that they're in.
Yeah, look, I got a good. I haven't seen him for 20 years, 25 probably. But I got a good buddy, and his mom would substitute teach at the elementary school, and she would go by Miss Dynamite. And she was about from memory, she was about 4'3", and but was not nice. Like, she just was not nice at all. She didn't even care about being nice. But the thing is, she lived at the Boy Scout camp, and her son was in Boy Scouts. He also was a really good football player, but he was in Boy Scouts. I think she was cool to the Boy Scouts, but she wasn't cool at school, just being a sub. No. She was probably cool to his friends if he got to her house. He was my friend, but he was 2 years older, so I didn't like hang out with him. But she was ruthless at school.
My great granny was a substitute teacher, and I had her once, and I specifically remember telling her, please do not ever sub my class ever again. Because going into it, because she had noticed that, you know, the teacher's going to be out, blah, blah, blah. And so she told me, oh, I'm going to be subbing your class. And I was like, oh, that's cool, you know. And it was like 2nd grade. And then fast forward, we get to the day that she subs, and she acts like she didn't even know me. And she's just evil.
Your granny?
Yeah, my great granny.
Is your great granny still alive?
Yes.
Is this the essential oils one?
No, that her mom.
Oh yeah, she was trying to burn that in class.
They weren't even big back then. But no, I was just like, oh great, my great granny is one of these people. Don't ever sub my class again, and don't tell people that you're my great granny, because then I'm gonna get bullied by the whole school because you're literally ruining my life right now.
Now, I don't know, when you're an adult and you go back and you see kids that act like idiots in class, I think as an adult would probably make me more mad, but as a child, I don't know any different. I just have a child brain, but this is not even in school. I mean, there were some, look, I don't like have these major sub stories, but there were some subs where I didn't like. I mean, there was this one that was, she was a Pentecostal lady, like hardcore Pentecostal lady, and she attempted to rule the class just like I know she ruled her home. That didn't work. Well, like when she was there, it was just nobody liked it at all.
Yeah. Now
I'm still fairly close with the community I grew up in, so I'm I'm not going in depth with some stuff.
Yeah.
It's not like I think these kids are going to beat me up or anything, but I'm just out of respect. I'm not going to mouth their moms.
Yeah.
But so I'm trying to be normal here with this one.
Your mom freaking sucked.
There were some crazy people, but I do remember when I was a kid, and I don't know if I was right or wrong. From memory, I think she was just rude to me. I think maybe. And so there was a choir teacher when I was in no, not like at school, but at church.
Oh, okay.
Like youth choir, and she was a new lady. Well, we all I also don't like new teachers, right? But she was a new lady. She just wasn't subbing. She was going to take over the choir. I felt like she was rude to me. From memory. Now, this is from memory. I'd have to go replay it and be like, well, I was acting like an idiot. I don't know, but just from memory, she was being like really rude. Well, I'm not the kind that lets you be really rude at all, like ever. And so I felt like she was doing it. So I was being rude, and then she would start yelling. So then I would start yelling, and like I don't know. I ran her off. She stopped being the choir teacher. I think she even quit going to church. I think it was because of me. I felt.
Well, that's less funny.
No, because it was way better after that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was back to cool.
Yeah.
yeah. It got way cool again. It wasn't not funny. Loved choir after that. Yeah. Anyway, the reason I said earlier was like I should be more positive is because I feel like when I do these podcasts and I start talking, usually the stories that I really get into are the ones that I always say that somebody's ridiculous or somebody's stupid or that's stupid or what. I mean, I should probably be more positive because on the whole, I'm not a negative person, but I'm not a negative person on the whole, but I do feel like a lot of things that I say that makes people laugh.
What
has to do with being negative?
I don't want to cut you off. Who says on the whole? What does that even mean?
Huh?
On the whole.
What do you mean on the whole?
You said that twice.
You say breakfast.
Okay. Well,
breakfast.
Fair enough.
Nobody even knows what breakfast is.
On the whole.
Hey, kids, you want to eat breakfast?
On the whole, I'm not very.
On the whole.
Nobody says that.
On the whole. On the whole.
Anyways, I'm sorry to
Nobody says
derail
that?
And I've not once heard that in my life.
Okay, whatever. Your face is greasy, but all that to say, when I walk in a restaurant, and there's 25 tables, and there's only one table being set, and they're in the corner, why do they set me right next to the table?
Okay, why do they do that? And we're talking about rude people. And why are the what are they? The hosts? Why are they always freaking rude?
I don't know.
Do you get that too?
Like they got the toughest job in the place?
Me and my wife talk about that like when we go to a place and we put our name and they're always like, name. And I tell them my name. And I'm standing there like waiting to, oh, okay, or, we'll take you to your seat, or it's going to be X amount of time for a wait. No, they'll just, or they won't even make eye contact. Oh, that drives me freaking nuts. Sorry.
Well, yeah, because they don't usually, there's not a lot of hosts at Wendy's. But like, so I don't know why they would, I don't even know why there's a host at Wendy's. But I'm just saying, like, when they set me next to the other table, I don't get it. Like, why do they do that? Like,
I hate
there's
that too.
Every table in the restaurant is open, and you set me right next to it. Happened the other day.
Yeah.
I mean, like, right. I got up and moved myself.
Yeah, I can't stand that. I also hate those tables that it's like one long row of booth seats with individual tables, and you sit right beside it. I hate that.
Yeah.
I hate it.
I
don't know why that exists.
I did that at Matt Eats the other day.
Oh yeah.
And when I got out, I was in the booth part, and to try to get out, I had to push my hand. I got to push my body off of the seat and slide myself over. And like the lady was so close, I almost touched her buttocks because she was like right beside me.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that would have been weird or whatever.
Yeah, that would
probably been the most exciting day of her life, but it would have been weird for me. So I just thought that was strange. So I just did. It's not anything I was into. Anyway, I got to be more positive. And speaking of positive, I don't even know if this is positive or negative. Did you watch that documentary, Making a Murderer?
No.
Okay, well, I don't want to I don't want to talk about that. I'm just simply saying any documentary. When they make these documentaries, that whatever they're trying to portray, that's all that's what you know.
Mm-hmm.
So when you watch it, and I think I don't think his name's Stephen Hawking, but I think his name's Stephen something.
I think it is that.
Is it?
I think it is.
Well, it's Stephen something.
Yeah,
but I think he's totally innocent. And the kid, I don't even remember his name. It's been a while. I just had this thought the other day. That's why I was thinking about it. But there was the kid that was on there that he went to Brendan, something
like that.
Yeah. So I think they're all innocent, right? When you watch the documentary and they're it's an outrage.
Mm-hmm.
That's why people were calling in. And oh gosh. And then celebrities always get involved and they're like, he's innocent. You were there in the trial, any of that, which is stupid, which is why I don't like, I do a podcast. I want people to listen. I love celebrities. Do I want to be a celebrity? I actually don't. I want people to listen to this show, but I don't really care if you know me in public.
Yeah.
Right? I don't care about all that. I'm not going to call the paparazzi and be like, I'm leaving my house at 3. Meet me at Whataburger. I'm not going to do that. It's stupid. But anyway, when they're all calling in, acting like he's innocent, well, documentaries are meant, you can say whatever you want. You can spin it however you want. So everybody thinks that he should walk free. And when I watched it, I'm like, how is this guy in prison? This is crazy. But they put him in prison, and then they had a retrial, and they still kept him in prison, and then still an outrage. Yeah, well, there's a whole other documentary, a podcast about the other side of the stuff you didn't hear, that the documentary didn't even say or mention or touch, that they left out, that you would think, well, yeah, that's why he's in prison. He probably did it. So people don't, you just hear one side.
Yeah, and if you don't do your research or happen to stumble upon that podcast, you're always going to have that opinion.
Yeah, but, I just made that sound like that was a negative. I'm still not taking it back about the booth or anything.
No.
There's not one side to that story.
No.
It happened.
Yeah.
I would like to hear the other side. I would like to go get a host and be like, hey,
why are you so freaking rude?
I just said, hey, listen, there's another side to every story. Tell me why you put me right beside that table when every single table in the entire restaurant was open.
I think it's because how many waiters they have and their sections of the restaurant. The restaurant was one room. Okay, well,
it was the same room.
Okay, and it was only one waiter.
The waiter would have to walk 12 more feet.
Oh, well, then that's not the case.
I like to stack them so I can say, how are you? And then I turn my head and I say, how are you?
I'll take your drink orders and you guys' drink orders. I'll just flip the page on the tablet.
Sorry, guys. I know you feels like you're close together, but I don't want to have to walk 12 feet. It's way faster for you guys. I promise. It's just stupid. Who does it? I was at my grandpa's 96th. Nobody said it's close here, but I was at my grandpa's 96th birthday this past weekend. He's still rolling. When I say rolling, I don't mean just alive. He still drives all over town, drives all over the county. He still goes hunting by himself. So yeah, he's still rolling. There was a lady who I didn't know, older lady walked in. Most of it was family. I love all the family there. And then there was one older lady that walked in and she hugged my grandpa. And I was like, man, who's this lady? He's 96.
The heck yeah.
And she came and hugged him. I'm like, who is this? Nobody even knows who she was. And then she sat at that main table with him. She didn't sit right beside him, but she sat at the main table. I'm 42. I'm almost 43. I have no idea who you are, lady. What are you doing? Trying to move in? I was like, I'm not calling you grandma. That's what I said it a couple times. I don't think she heard it, but my cousins did.
Yeah. That's the important part.
Yeah, and then my uncle's there. My uncle Dule's there, and he talks like this. He's like, Dad, they said on Dad. They said that. This is what he said. I was walking to get my food. It was at this place called Country Cottage. And I was by the way, I worked there. It was the first board
at the Country Cottage.
Yeah. And so so I'm walking there and to where the food area is, and I don't know what this means. I still don't. And he walked up, and we're crossing paths, and he walked up. He goes, and he's got his food in one hand, and he's got his dessert, his cheesecake in the other hand, 2 plates. And he walks past me. I don't know what this means still. And he goes, he's like, I just told old Dad I got the largest piece of cheesecake. And he walked back in the room. And I to this day I have no idea what that even meant or why that was the funniest thing he had ever heard in his life. It was like I didn't know what to say. I was very confused by it. Oh my God. It's something that really fired him up.
Yeah, that cheesecake must be down at the Country Cottage.
That cheesecake was this big. I promise that piece was that big, like back to front. You can't see on just the podcast. I'm gonna go 3.5 inches, probably 3.5 inches long. So I don't know what it meant.
You got the biggest piece there.
All right. Well, that's what I'm going to hold on down, but Dad being my grandpa.
Yeah.
So I don't. Yeah. It's good. It's a good time. But that lady, she's not moving in. I'm not calling her grandma. Not even if there's a fire.
Not even at the. What a great movie.
Not even if there's a fire. Am I calling her grandma?
I have a question.
Yeah.
You said the cheesecake back to front. Do you know of anyone? I don't want to get too graphic, but do you know of anyone who wipes? And I pray to the Lord it's not you. Who wipes back to front?
That's actually a very weird thing, and I don't like I say I don't like that this is about to take place on this podcast, but this really happened. Like the other day for the guy who blows through barriers at the airport. I don't know what he was talking about. It wasn't like we were having a full discussion about that. We weren't. Yeah. I don't know what he said, but he made some kind of like, oh man, not to be like gross or whatever. He made some kind of reference about wiping, but like he like bent over like he was going underneath, and I was like, "What are you doing?" He's like, what did he say? I was like, "What are you doing?" And he's like, "What?" And I'm like, were you acting like you were wiping? And he's like, "Oh yeah." And I'm like, "Is that literally how you do it?" And he's like, "What?" I was like, "Do you bend over, like, do you reach under, like, do you bend over at your waist and like go up under?" I don't even know how to say it because it's weird and perverted. And he's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Who does that? Nobody does that."
I know somebody who does the same thing.
He said, he was like, "You don't do that?" I'm like, "No, I don't do that." But it was obviously not a conversation that he had in his life either. That was not. He wasn't even trying to get into that conversation.
Yeah.
Because I don't remember what we were talking about, but it wasn't that. But he made that reference, and once I said it, he was like, I think it kind of embarrassed him because I'm like, nobody does that. Nobody.
He doesn't know how to wipe.
But here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. How do I know? Like, it's not like every time I go in a...
You definitely know.
No, I don't. But I'm saying, it's not like I go in an airport bathroom and I'm like, and peeking over the stalls. Like, well, let's see how this guy does it. I'm going to do some research. So I don't know.
I don't even know if anybody would do that, but we got to... If there is a way to do like a poll, I mean, we have to figure out a way to do that.
I don't know. It's not...
There has to be a very minority of people who wipe back to front.
I don't know.
No psychopath. Well, there's a couple psychopaths who do that, and your buddy would be one. And then this conversation came up with a group of my old work buddies, and we found out one of those guys did the same thing. Well, and I was mind blown.
Well, I like how you snuck in this disgusting topic into this podcast. This is not a wiping podcast, Leighton. You're gonna have to do your own if you're gonna. I don't know.
Well, maybe we'll get like a toilet paper sponsorship out of it.
Oh yeah,
You're
never
welcome.
mind.
Yeah.
Hey Scott.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey Angel Soft.
Yeah, I love Angel Soft. But you know what I don't like?
Losing in fantasy?
You know, the other day I mouthed Casey's Pizza.
Mm-hmm.
I mouthed Casey's Pizza. We were talking about the gross, different gross kinds. But if I have to, and then we were like, oh, Quick Trip, they're local.
Yeah.
I'm going to be honest. If I have to pick between Quick Trip Pizza and Casey's Pizza,
Say it.
It's not even close.
Which one is better?
Casey's.
1,000,000%.
I don't even know what I said on the podcast the other day because I was really just fired up about barbecue pizza and all that crap. But no, I had Casey's Pizza one time. I'm like, that's gross.
Yeah.
So I don't want to like rehash it, but I yeah.
No, Casey's Pizza is not even close.
Now, I'm not acting like it's the greatest pizza I've ever had. No. If I'm comparing those two, yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
So, well, look, I'm going to get off here. You know why I'm getting off here? Because I fly in the morning at 5 in the morning.
And you get to go see your friends at the airport.
That's 5 in the a.m. I'm not talking to them. I can tell you that.
You just said you got to be more positive.
I don't know about just... I got to be more positive just as far as not being negative about everything. I'm not a negative person, but I always make funny jokes in a negative way. So, like, I got to be, I got to be better.
But you're doing that to make people laugh, which is positive.
Yeah, that's right. He doesn't know how this video board works, but that's right. It's good to see everybody. Thank you so much. So anyway, I appreciate you guys listening in this week. Love everybody. Put Pete Rose in the Hall of Fame and go Buffalo Bills. Win the Super Bowl again. I'm sure. Well, they never have. It doesn't matter. Win it this time. Let's get it this time. All right. Have a good week.